Hello, my name is Keith Strasberg, and I am Cybersafe's Chief Operating Officer. And with me is Tom Pierik, Cybersafe's Chief Information Security Officer. And we thought we'd spend a few minutes talking about the role of organizational leadership and making sure their company is taking appropriate and expected security measures. Tom?
So one thing to remember is security always starts from the top, regardless of skill level or technical prowess. It's integral for leadership put forth the expect organization to operate in a secure manner. It's better for leadership to communicate their concerns and priorities in your terms. You don't need to try to lead with technical language. You don't have to say, this is what I want from the firewall. You know your concern is outsiders gaining access to internal resources, then just focus on stressing that point. Leave it to your security team to take those guidelines and then determine your best available options. Keith, are there any options that are ever off the table for a security team?
Good question. I would say that almost every organization has to live within some sort of budget constraints. It's very rare there's carte blanche to really spend and buy at will. But I'd also say that such constraints can be healthy and productive. It forces planning and it forces thought to create to use a combination of tools and resources to address and mitigate risks smartly. I've seen plenty of environments where people have clearly spent on security, but ended up with a lot of gaps and holes in defenses because everything is siloed. Lastly, organizations will want to align spend with the value of what's being defended. Tom, your thoughts on approaching those security stacks or resources are deployed smartly?
Yeah, it's really about low-hanging fruit and bang for your buck, right? There may be what you're hearing a lot about in the news, but it's very isolated and specific to what it fixes. So you want to go for the thing that gets you the most right away out of the chute. What applies to the large part of the stack? How do I do that? I do that by identifying all the gaps and realizing that step may take time. So I need to account for how I'm protecting myself at the outset while I go through the entire gap analysis process. So what can you do today to gain insight into the activity that is happening within your environment and allows you to establish a normal baseline? Your security team is going to need to remember that a best practice solution has business impacts, and some of them are financially non-starters. So they should be able to provide a variety of methods securing various assets. Keith, would you like to say how an organization views the protection of one asset would be the same for all of the assets?
I would say that one size most certainly does not fit all when it comes to cybersecurity. Different assets, different threat vectors require different ways and things to protect them. The pillars of cybersecurity do come to mind: confidentiality, integrity, availability, right? A system or an asset may not have much confidential data in it, but if it's offline and unavailable for 10 minutes, might cost millions and millions of dollars. Will have different needs and needs to be resourced and protected differently than a corporate system that's housing the crown jewels. But hey, if it's offline for half a day, not anybody's going to notice. So really taking a systematic approach to understanding an asset, its importance to the organization, and ultimately the risks that it represents to therefore drive the kinds of security controls that are going to get designed and implemented really produces the best results over the long term. Anything to add?
I think the initial thought is always remember security has to let the business function. I can secure something to the point that makes it almost impossible for your people to do the day-to-day, which means now your business isn't producing, so it's just as good as being completely offline. But it's those kind of details leadership can provide to their security team. Here's this system, it's super critical. I need it functional 24/7. This needs to be available to all my people. You know, what's critical, what can be offline, what must be up and running at all costs. These are all details leadership should stress and then champion the solutions. If I'm bringing forth an idea and I want to move forward and I'm getting resistance from another internal department, leadership saying, hey, this is what we're doing, it has my full support, I understand there may be implications, that's going to go a long way to getting the security of the information put forward. You don't have to tell me the name of the servers necessarily, just tell me what part of the business it is, and I'll work to go through it with your different leads, different team leads and departments. Clearly communicating is critical. This is what we use that's highly confidential, etc. So security should never work on the business, it should work within it. You always need to be able to communicate clearly, effectively. That's both ways. I know we talked a lot about leadership to security, but as a security person, I need to be able to speak to the business as well. If you do that, those terms will help ensure a unified mission and understanding when it comes to securing your organization.
All right, well said, well said. So thanks, Tom, and
Yep.
thank you, audience. We hope that you found this informative, and ultimately, thanks for watching. Be well now.